But and then also, Eddie, I got the big fight, the biggest one that could be made, Fury and Joshua.
Yes.
Do you think we get it in 2021?
I really do. I really do. I mean, I hate being too positive, where like we build you up and then we have to let you down. But all I can tell you, hand on heart, is it's the only fight both fighters and both teams are thinking about right now, and it's the only fight they want. And like, I don't see how it doesn't get made. But you know,
this is boxing.
Yeah, it is boxing. but generally, like, there's been loads of fights that I've tried to make in the past where I've sort of started off the conversations thinking, not sure about this. Wilder AJ was one of them. You know, for ages and ages, I couldn't get my head around certain things. Here, it's like, you know, let's do it. And okay, like small details to iron out, but nothing that would stop a fight taking place. So, I think the biggest threat is the pandemic. To be honest with you, like we need crowds, we need countries to put up offers where they feel comfortable, that they'll be in normality by then. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's the biggest challenge.
Do you think, you know, Joshua isn't as vocal as Fury, you know, with the verbal? Do you think he wants to knock his block off?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does. But he's got spite in him, AJ, but he don't want to talk about it. Like, until it's done, he don't. For ages and ages, I actually told him, we'll get the Wilder fight done. Like, you know, and the last DAZN offer that flew in, I was like, trust me, he's going to take this fight. And he was like, yeah, and he was talking about him a bit, he was doing interviews about him a bit. He doesn't want to focus on Fury until he knows he's fighting him. He's never had the style of shouting out, you big dosser, and wearing a Batman outfit, and that's not him. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you ask him, do you want to fight Fury? Yeah, of course I will, but until it's made, I'm not going to focus my energy on it. So, unfortunately, people wanted him to scream and shout Fury's name on Saturday. It's not his style. But my instruction is one fight only, and that's Tyson Fury.
How does he beat Tyson Fury?
He has to be
aggressive, doesn't he?
Yes, and he has to use his attributes. He mustn't let Fury do what he does, which is frustrate and just sort of outthink you and outfiddle you. He has to go in, he has to let his hands go at speed. Again, like you're saying, I never feel like AJ gets the credit, to be honest with you. I mean, I thought he boxed beautifully last weekend.
He did.
He's been out for a year, right? He dismantles this guy. I think he got punched twice. You know, the third round was so exciting. The knockout was showreel. Should he have done it a couple of rounds earlier? Maybe, but he didn't get hit. What more do you want?
That's why Floyd's ringside.
I know, but it's like,
you know,
it's like, are we going to see the new AJ or the old AJ? There is no new or old. It's just the right fight against that fighter.
But aren't they combining though, the old AJ and the new AJ?
Yeah.
You know,
but all you're doing is you're getting a guy who's just understanding what it takes to win. Do you know what I mean? He's still got more spite than ever. He still punches fucking. I mean, it was a showreel knockout, beautiful. So I don't know what more people want, to be honest with you. And against Fury, he's got to put the style together to beat Tyson Fury. Small bit of new, but probably more old. Reckless, but smart, you know?
Absolutely.
So, I believe he's the best. And I can't tell you how much he's improving. Every day, improving. So, you know, I think that in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, he will be the finished article. He's not there yet, but he's still number one in my opinion.
He could beat Fury before being that
I believe
finished.
So,
okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of question marks about Fury, by the way. I mean, if you want to be facetious, you could say that Deontay Wilder's actually not very good at all, and he's not. But fuck me, he can punch, right?
And he's fast. That right hand comes out quick.
But
it's not
like, in terms of his boxing levels. I mean, not like, let me tell you, AJ would absolutely destroy Deontay Wilder. But granted, he's dangerous and he can take anyone out, right? But at a boxing level, AJ's style is horrific for Deontay Wilder. He's an excellent boxer. He has a great jab. And he's extremely accurate, very fast, and punches hard.
But he's more planted than Fury, right? So
he is. But
Wilder would have more of a chance to maybe land it, or
yeah, maybe.
And Joshua is more technically sound for sure.
But he's going to punish him earlier in the fight and faster. Do you know what I mean? But it's irrelevant anyway, because Deontay Wilder's in the sort of horizon somewhere. So, but if you look at Fury, you say, okay, well, when he boxed Otto Wallin, Granted, he had a cut, but didn't exactly look like a superstar. You know, came back against Seferi and Pianetta. Couldn't be, and this is what I talk about with AJ's resume. He went Dillian White, Charles Martin, Brazil, Molina, Klitschko, Takam, Parker, Povetkin, Ruiz, Pulev. It's fucking some run, that is. Now, Fury has 2 good wins on his record, Klitschko and Wilder.
We'll give Chisora as well.
Yeah, but it was early. I mean, again, Derek weren't the fighter that he was then. But now you look at what was in the middle. Seferi, Pianetta. Granted, he was coming back. Otto Wale, Tom Schwartz. You know, that's the difference. And AJ's never had the easy touches. You know, even Eric Molina, which I guess at the time you could look at, AJ was a novice. And by the way, Molina just went 9 rounds with Wilder and rocked him in that fight. So I just feel like he's consistently boxed at a high level.
Do you feel like, because there's always questions about the chin of Joshua, that he'll have to be aggressive in that fight, and when you're aggressive, you're the guy who's cutting the distance, got to take some shots. Do you think he'll be able to take Fury's power?
I don't think Fury,
to get close to him.
You can't say Fury doesn't have power,
because any heavyweight, right?
Yeah,
right.
But Fury's not a puncher. I think we all established that, right? But he can hurt people, and if you're being aggressive, sometimes you can have, you're going to feel the power more. I just think this whole thing about Joshua's chin. I mean, he took a shot against Andy Ruiz in the top of the head, granted. Go back and watch the Vladimir Klitschko fight. This guy took every shot in the book from Vladimir Klitschko, in the 5th round particularly, in the second half of that round, and in the 6th round, and took one of the biggest right hands I've ever seen, and got up, carried on, and went on to win the fight. There's nothing wrong with Joshua's chin. But unfortunately, against Andy Ruiz, he took a shot that he never recovered from. So, I have all confidence in his chin. Tyson Fury, how's his chin? I mean, one thing we know is when he got put down, he remarkably got up. He never really, people just think, make shit up. But if you watch that, he rode those punches very well. And that's what he does. He's very hard to hit clean. But I've never seen him, the only time I've seen him get hit clean is probably against Cunningham, when he got put on his arse. But I'm sure Tyson Fury has a good chin. But it'll be tested against AJ, and it'll be tested at speed.
Do you agree that, not agree, do you think that foregoing undisputed is worth just making the fight? If it's for 3 out of the 4, good enough, let's just make it.
None out of the 4. I think we either have to get this fight for the undisputed, or everyone should just vacate all the belts and we'll just move on from boxing.
As a big FU to the sanction?
As a statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you get to a stage where, I don't know, those governing bodies are going to be making not a million miles away from $1 million each. Right? And now Alexander Usyk wants step-aside money. So at what point do you look at it and you go, 4 belts, 4 million, he wants a couple of million. What the fuck are we doing? Because at the moment, in the pandemic, like, we're doing shows where we're not making money or losing money, but we're still writing out the checks to the governing bodies. Last week with AJ, IBF, there you go, mate. WBO, there you go, mate. IBO, there you go, mate. This week, with Gennady Golovkin, IBF, there you go, mate. IBO, there you go, mate. Saturday night, now the WBC belt's on the line. There you go, WBC. There you go, WBA. You're okay, aren't you? You still getting paid, yeah?
Me?
Not you. I'm talking about the governing bodies.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I wish. Actually, I got to join one of them.
So I respect the governing bodies, and the belts are important, but I just want them to understand. Play the fucking game.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. And if you don't align yourself to this fight, people in boxing are going to start going out of business. The governing bodies will also go out of business if they don't start using some common sense. And this fight, every belt should be on the line.
Yep. Don't fuck around. It's number 1 versus number 2.
Exactly.
Let the fight happen that people want to see. Yeah. And then lastly on any potential Fury Joshua talk, business wise, is it possible it could be a ESPN pay-per-view in the States and then it's Sky Sports back home in England?
Yeah, that's one of the things to decide. I mean, in the UK, Joshua has an exclusive deal with Sky Sports. Fury has a matching rights deal with BT. In the US, Fury has an exclusive deal with ESPN. Joshua has a matching rights deal with DAZN. So we just find a way. I think every broadcaster is flexible, as the governing body should be, to go, look, not ideal, but we have to do this. We have to.
And part of that's you, right? Being, just loving boxing, and you're willing to go through. Yeah.
Like if we don't make this fight and we don't get this done, we might as well fucking pack up and go home.
What are we doing here?
Against Terence Crawford, same thing.
Yeah.
You better make that fight, otherwise you're all wasting your time.